All right, welcome to Live from the Lake, a weekly podcast where this amazing, passionate, loving family gets together to talk about music amongst other cool and current events. My name is Jeremy.
I'm Jen.
I'm Mason.
And I'm Noah.
All right, let's dive on in. Has happened this week. It's been a very chaotic week since we last dropped a podcast. I'd like to start with a one that I heard of today that I had never heard of before. It's called the 999.
I saw this.
Have you seen this, Mason?
No.
Noah? Have you seen
Nope.
the 999?
I don't think so.
It's a
All right.
challenge.
I don't know if it's a challenge or if it's a
Oh,
form of
I have
torture.
seen this. I have seen this.
What is it?
9
Can I say it?
hot dogs,
9 brews, 9 dogs,
beers,
9 innings.
9 innings.
Yeah.
Wait, so you got to drink 9
go to
beers
the ball
and have
game.
9 hot dogs?
You go
at
to
the
the
hot dogs?
you go
So
to
one hot dog, one
Or
beer
at the
per
game.
inning. The problem is you
Sounds like a
never
great
see the
fucking
game
day.
because you're going to get a
It sounds
hot
like
dog
a great
every
day
inning.
as long as no. You make a deal. You give the hot dog guy $10 and tell him
Swing
he better
by
come
every
back
half
every
hour.
inning,
Yeah,
and then
you
you
do at the start of every inning.
Yeah,
'cause
and
I
then
need
you
a
buy-
full inning
and then-
to get through. Like
Well,
8
but
and
also,
9 would be
like
difficult.
the
Yeah,
7th,
and
they
then
stop
you-
serving.
yeah, and then
you need
you-
to double up some.
No, I
innings.
think you can still get dogs after the 9th, right?
You just got to
After
You
the
finish.
just gotta
seventh,
you
yes.
just gotta rack your last 3 beers on your last go around.
Dude, 9 hot dogs. There's no way you're getting
a
out
hell
of
of a
that
lot of hot
without a
dogs.
stomach situation.
Dude, you can fucking do that. You could totally
I'm
do
not saying
that.
you
I
couldn't.
could do that.
I'm just
Oh,
saying
I
there
don't
would
know
be
if Mom could
repercussions.
do it. I
A
don't know.
hot
if Mom
dog.
could do it.
Okay, you can't go like fully loaded Chicago
You
dogs.
got 3 hours.
You get plain dogs, and just ketchup. No, not ketchup. Sorry, terrible
What?
mustard.
Oh
Not
my.
ketchup.
You
not,
need to
not,
stop.
Not
You're
ketchup.
just making it worse. The best part of a
Yeah,
hot
just
dog
raw-
is the grilled onions.
just
At
put-
Wrigley, that's the best part.
Yeah, but if you're going for 9 hot dogs, you have to be conservative about what you're putting on it. It's just dog and
Noah's got a hot dog
and,
sitting
and
in front of
mustard.
him.
Hot dog
Load
and
it up.
mustard, and
I
that's all
only
you
eat
need.
hot dogs at Wrigley Field.
Hi,
Yeah,
we're
me
from
too.
Chicago.
It's the only place that I eat them. I don't eat them anywhere else.
That sounds like a
All right, so you're up for the challenge. So
yeah. I'll do it. Are we doing it tomorrow?
I have
No, definitely
like
not.
obligations.
I
some
also like.
involving
I
driving
also like. Will
afterwards.
need to
I
save.
cannot.
I'd need to save up. That's like $200.
oh,
Well,
easy.
yeah, that's the thing.
I think what we need to do is what we'll do is we'll go to a game once it heats up and it's a little
Just
bit
in
warmer
dog.
out.
Oh, that's the problem. Though. You can't go mid-July when it's hot out. That's the issue.
That makes it easier to drink the beer. So not necessarily.
With
We'll
the
pick a nice.
dogs.
We'll try and pick a nice cool day, but still summer weather,
70s.
and we'll
Yeah,
see what we can
that's
do.
good.
And
I'm just
we'll
saying, like,
tally it.
95
well, maybe,
degrees, that
maybe
would
we'll
be
bring
miserable.
a GoPro and we can we'll see.
I don't know.
All right, Lotta has gone down this week.
Joey
I've got like
Chestnut,
I
dude.
have I literally I saved and maintained and took more notes this week than any week, maybe like all weeks combined. But there's a lot that happened like this week. Hoist the record turned 30 years old this week.
It's the one with the horse on the cover, if you're unaware.
Sebastian Bach from Skid Row turns 56 this week. Emmylou Harris turns 80 this week.
Wow.
Vince Vaughn, who's a local celebrity hero around
Beast.
these parts, turns 54 this week.
Oh, I have a
Nice.
great Vince
Robert
Vaughn
Downey
story.
Jr. turns 59 this week.
Iron Man.
How about Candyman, the legendary Grateful Dead tune, debuted this week in 1970 at University of Cincinnati.
Excellent.
Unbelievable. This week, the date specifically was 4/2/1967. Stevie Winwood decided to leave the Spencer Davis Group to form Traffic with his buddies Jim Capaldi, Dave Mason, and the other one. 28 years ago today, Bob Weir spread Jerry's ashes in the river in India. Half of his ashes, the other half were spread in the San Francisco Bay. And 36 years ago this week, legendary drummer Buddy Rich died at the age of 69. Pretty insane week.
That's a lot.
That's a ton.
That's a real lot.
So what was the thing with Jerry's ashes? Bobby just spread them somewhere in India.
28 years ago today, Bobby
Yeah.
took half of the ashes to India at Jerry's request and spread them in the river.
Cool.
And the other half was spread in the San Francisco Bay. Yeah.
Sick.
In addition to that, John Oates has a new song.
I saw that.
It's called Reunion, which I thought was pretty funny, coming on the coattails of like restraining orders and fighting with Daryl Hall. I thought that was interesting. Herbie Hancock drops a tour. Guster's got a new record coming, first one in a long time, called Ooh La La.
That's exciting.
More the film news. Silver Surfer. You give a shit about this, right?
Well, like the Silver Surfer and the new Fantastic Four.
Yep. New movie, Silver Surfer, will be played by Julia Garner. Do you know who that is?
Give me something else. That she's
Ruth
in.
from Ozarks.
Yeah, I haven't seen Ozarks. You know who is in that?
Oh
I'm
my
sorry.
God.
You need to pause.
You haven't
How have
seen
you not
Ozark?
seen Ozark? Separate conversation, I guess,
Yeah,
for another day. But
I don't know. I haven't.
put it on your list,
Oh
kid.
my God, man! You should watch that show. It's
Well,
really good. And that character.
Oh.
I think
is
when
so
you,
good.
I think when you were watching Ozark, I had started Peaky Blinders, and then I finished Peaky Blinders, and I started watching all the Star Wars TV shows that had come out that I hadn't seen.
Okay, well, you really need to put Ozark on
Yeah,
your
Ozark's
short
Yeah,
is
I can
good.
put that on my
It's
short
very
list.
good. Yeah, that's
And
not
as
going to
soon
be
as you
nearly
get
as relevant.
introduced to Ruth, you'll be very excited.
Wait, so the Silver Surfer?
Apparently,
is gonna
they're
be a
making the
girl?
movie. Yeah, and it's going to be Ruth from Ozarks. Who's
Yeah,
an
that movie's
amazing
supposed
character.
to be coming out. You know who plays Mr. Elastic is Jim Halpert.
I think that's
Oh.
Mr. Fantastic.
Whatever,
And
Miss-
I
yeah,
don't know
it is
that he's
Mr.
going to be in
Fantastic,
the new
but-
movie. No, I'm not sure.
or he was in it. I think he's supposed to be in the new one.
He was in the Doctor Strange movie as
Was
the
he?
Fantastic Four guy, but that took place in an alternate dimension. So, like, maybe it's
Oh,
not the same
fair
actor.
enough.
All right,
I don't
I
know.
got more.
Let's
I
get
don't know.
technical.
Sir Paul comes out with nothing but praise for Beyonce's Blackbird, which I thought was interesting. I also read something that I think was definitive, that she actually used the real track. Like, she used the Beatles track and sang Blackbird on top of it. Thought that
Wow.
was pretty wild. There's a new Matrix movie in development.
Matrix 4.
I don't know which number it
Re-
is.
re-
I think, I
reloaded?
think they already had a fourth one like last year or 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Oh, you might
Maybe
have.
this
You
is
might be
five.
right.
I haven't
Maybe
seen
this
it.
is 5. How about this one?
I haven't even seen the third one.
9 Inch Nails had I think it was a GQ interview, and in the interview they're going to be coming out with a new album, a music festival, a TV show, an XR game, a clothing line, and I believe a movie.
What?
An
Trent
XR
Reznor
game?
goes underground for like
10 years?
I don't know how long.
15?
Pops up and is like, I'm
I've
going
got-
to
I've got
capitalize on
projects.
my on 9 Inch Nails.
What's an XR game?
I'm assuming that's like a VR game, but maybe X is a different version. I don't know.
No
I've
clue.
never heard of this.
All right, whatever. How about Kuroda lights up the strip? Did you see this one?
No.
Kuroda and Andrew Griffin, who's his like partner in crime, were asked by new owners, Dreamscape Companies, new owners of the hotel called the Hotel Rio in Vegas.
Yeah.
They have LEDs lights running vertically up and down, and
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, and it's actually like you can see it from far away. And they hired Kuroda to come and create the nightscapes, if you will, and they did it.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, kind of
Pretty sweet.
I
kind of
bet
a
it's
cool
a
thing.
little. I bet it's actually like a pretty cool facelift.
Yeah, no, I mean it looks really cool. They showed a little video when I saw it.
Very nice.
Looked cool. Tyler Childers covered Pink Floyd this week. Dave Matthews Band announced tour openers. Corey Wong got tapped for some of that.
I saw that in
Trombone Shorty.
at SPAC or
I don't know
Wait,
what. I
no,
don't know
it's
where.
Corey's
the Gorge,
opening
sorry.
for Dave?
at the Gorge.
Somewhere.
That'll be pretty rad.
Yeah. Willie Nelson put out a version of "Watching the Wheels" for John Lennon's birthday, which
Cool.
obviously is sometime around now. Lizzo quit. I don't believe that Lizzo quit. Mark my words. Lizzo didn't quit. She's just saying she quits, and now everybody talks about
All
her.
I saw was she was quitting social media. She wasn't like retiring.
I read
or
the
anything.
thing, and she was like ranting about how it's bullshit that everybody's all, there's a lot of hate that goes around on social media, as we all well know.
Right.
Anonymity gives people big cojones. But she said at the end, I quit. I don't know what that means. It's not,
I don't know. The headline I saw was that she was quitting social media and she was no longer going to be on social media. Not that she was.
I mean,
I don't know.
you know what? Honestly, at some point, I really don't blame people.
No, I don't either. I think the best is just to turn off the Snapchat or whatever. Snoop and Dre are putting out a new record.
Ooh.
93 record was called Dog Style. This one's called Missionary.
Come on, guys.
I mean,
it's right there, but you didn't have to.
Well, listen.
Molly Tuttle covers California Stars, I saw this week.
Interesting.
And the last one I've got for kind of news or things that are happening is J-Lo cancels 7 dates off the first tour in 5 years.
Oh, I heard that she's
There's
got terribly low ticket sales.
They're suspecting it's due to weak ticket sales. She then rebrands the tour from This Is Me Now, which I believe is the name of the new record, to This Is Me Live, the greatest hits, in hopes of kind of reviving
Jenny from the block.
that tour.
So she's going to change up and...
Well, I think she's going to hit the road and play her hits and try and sell some more tickets. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, like, do I even know any of her songs?
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I don't really know which ones, but I'm sure you've heard.
I don't know.
I'm sure that you do. I'm sure there's
Maybe.
I'm sure there's at least one that you.
I'm not going to start like singing songs for you to try and catch on to that.
No, I don't think that makes sense.
No, definitely not.
I can't even. I think I can think of like 2 songs of hers too. So I don't know that you would.
Yeah, I don't know.
On the floor.
Oh. If it's no, yeah.
Whatever.
Oh yeah, I do know that song, but that's like, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of awkward that she had a Super Bowl halftime show like 4 years ago, and I remember nothing of it.
Was that 4 years ago?
Maybe more. Her
I
and
don't know.
Shakira.
Wow.
It was
Oh.
pre-COVID,
That felt like yesterday.
right? Or it was
That
either
might have been the
pre-COVID or
first
it was the
one
first one
after.
after COVID.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the only part I remember from that is her and Shakira shaking their butts at the end.
They did that.
They
Yep.
did do that.
They did that.
It's the memorable factor, apparently. Oh, you want to hear about what happened to me this week?
I'd be interested in hearing what happened to you this week. Sure.
Oh, I just thought that this was kind of a funny. This actually did happen to me. I was working in town on probably either Thursday or Friday of last week. Excuse me. And I was outside in the parking lot, and I was working near one of our local bars, and I was unloading stuff from my car, and this elderly gentleman pulls up, and he's like, "Hey, do you have a second?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, totally." Expecting like, how do I get out of here, or where's this way, or where's this place, whatever.
But he was soliciting you for sex.
No. And he goes, "Is this the tap room?" And I'm like, "Well, it's." And then I told him what it's called, and he was like, "Oh yeah. No, that's what I'm talking about. Me and my friends used to call it the tap room." And I was like, "Oh yeah, cool, like whatever." And then he's like, "Do you think they're open?" I'm like, look at my watch. It's 10:30 a.m. I'm like,
This is also a bar this guy had a nickname for, and he doesn't know where it was. He's like, my buddies and I, we stopped by all the time. We called it this.
Yeah, but it could have been 40 years ago.
yeah. He's like, is this this place? And I'm like,
Maybe
oh,
you start
it's
to
whatever.
forget things after
It is a
like,
bar though. And
decades roll by.
And so he's like, do you think they're open? I'm like, I mean, yeah. I mean, it looks like it. I in my head, I was like, honestly, I don't know if they ever close. Really,
If they ever close.
like they might be closed from like 4 to 7 or 8, something like that. But so I'm like, yeah, I think they're probably open. And he looks at me and looks at his watch and then looks back at me and goes, wife's going to kill me. I'll see you later. Thanks, bud. I was like, all right. This man was legitimately probably at least 70.
Nice.
Good
So
for him.
he's living
probably
life.
not got to go to work
Ready
later.
to fire
No.
up the engines at,
Yeah, I know.
at 10:30 in the
He's
morning.
probably been up since 5.
Yeah, so the
It's
elderly
like a lunchtime beer.
So the elderly folk of
kinda.
northern
Yeah.
Illinois are getting prepped and ready for summertime, it appears.
That's good.
Yeah.
That is
I
good.
think we're all getting ready for summertime. When we get a little warm out.
Oh, God, we're so ready for summertime.
Oh, seriously. It was snowing today.
So ready for
miserable.
summertime.
Just a little. Just a little snow.
Okay, I have some interesting things.
Oh,
Would you like to hear one interesting thing?
yeah.
Are they actually interesting?
I think so.
God, be nice to your mother.
Jerk. Okay, so today, actually, and I kind of was surprised that you didn't bring this up, but today apparently it was announced that Kiss sold their catalog
Yep, 300 million.
to a company. This is interesting. They sold it to a company that owns the ABBA Voyage Live Avatar Performance Experience. And they plan to create a biopic or biopic or whatever, and
Biopic.
a live show that features avatars of the members of the band, so that the Kiss experience
Hologram
can live on
hologram band hits the town.
Kind of
I
weird.
saw something about AI
Gem.
in there. There was
Totally gem.
there was another thing that happened, which is that on maybe a slightly disjointed course, but 200 musicians put out a open letter basically warning of AI violations to artists' rights. And we're talking big
Good for them.
big names.
I think they should.
REM,
They're getting
the
screwed
Bob
left
Marley
and right.
estate. It's just interesting. It's we've talked about AI music and such on the podcast already.
But they're
I
not
think it's
making
gonna
money
be-
anymore.
Well,
Not off of. They're making music for performing live. Nobody are making money for performing live. Nobody's making money off of how many times you listen to their song, because Spotify doesn't give them hardly anything for what they should be
I
getting.
think that the dollar amounts are low, and it's and certainly the entire business has flip flopped. Since the old days when record companies existed. But even then, like, they were, being taken advantage of. It's like it's just an evolving thing. I think more of the AI music being put out there, and that is a threat to like art, to like humans making art.
right.
I don't know where this stuff is going to go, but that kind of a thing is super weird. There was a show. I think we might have talked about it here once. There was a show that was being billed at the Genesee Theater in Waukegan. Where I don't remember who it was. I want to say it was like Buddy Holly or something. Oh, no, it was Johnny Cash. It was like the Johnny Cash experience.
Yes.
And they were doing,
Hologramish.
I think there might have been a hologram and some video and a video performance or video of a live performance. And they were selling tickets to that.
Okay, so that's where I was going with this Kiss thing. So let's say this company puts out this live show with avatars.
Yeah.
How much do you think the average person, even if you're like a diehard Kiss fan, you just love seeing them live, how much do you think the average person is going to, you think they're going to pay the same as seeing a real person up there?
Okay, let me ask a different question, like that's maybe similar and maybe gets you to think about this the way that I'm thinking about this, which is how much will you pay to go sit in a white room with a whole bunch of projectors and some music and some like cool dancey versions of like Van Gogh's paintings?
We've done that, and it's very cool.
Yeah, and how much was it? It was like $50 a person or something, and we did it because it was like, what the hell? It's winter in Chicago. Let's go do something. It's interesting. It's different. I think the first run of these hologram shows are going to be like, people are going to be like, holy shit, like, what is this? Like, there's going to be the
a buzz.
Well, a buzz just because it's like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
I tell you, if they would do it with the Dead, I'd go see some of those like old.
Well, that's what I was going to
like,
say.
well,
Like,
hell yeah.
The Dead, they've done like the smaller movie
theater-
theaters,
the movie
but
theaters.
they like
What do they
play
call
a
it?
Dead show
I don't
on the big
remember.
screen.
I'm not saying people wouldn't pay something.
No,
I just
that's
think
what
that
I'm
you
saying.
can't possibly be charging people the way that they're currently charging people with the.
No, it's a
think that
different
you're gonna have
experience. You're not
months
gonna-
and months of sellout events and for $400 a ticket, or it's
Resell
not going to be like the
Scalper
Sphere.
tickets.
No, it's going to be different. It's going to be
Okay.
way different. It's going to be smaller theaters. It's going to be. I would assume it's going to be more like the Friends experience or the Prince experience or the
A pop-up.
or the like a pop-up type of thing where it'll travel city to city. And it's
makes
it's a
sense.
truck worth of gear or 2 trucks worth of gear, and I don't know what kind of lighting rig they're going to have or this, that, or the other. But it's going to be the kind of thing where you put this little package together. You put some non-artists, you put some technical people in the truck. You set up the lights. You set up the sound, the PA,
And you push
You
play.
set up the cool hologram machines. You get the smoke machines plugged in. Hit go, and hope that you don't lose power.
Right.
Yeah, the part
I honestly think that if you like ripped a freaking like
A cool one.
like like an early Dead show, I would be all over that shit.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of
I
people
would probably do it with a lot of that. Imagine like
We could
little
get a bus
like
of
seeing
people
a
to go do
little
that.
feat show or seeing a Bob Marley thing or seeing a this, that, or the other. I guess if it's like the kind of thing where you go and sit there, like it would have to. I would want it to feel like a real show, even though I don't know. This is a very weird concept, but I would want it to feel like a real show. Where you go and you dance and it feels.
And the lights go
legit,
down and the
even though
stage
it's
lights go up and the holograms appear.
Yeah, that would be
So it's-
super weird.
It's total bullshit.
thing
But
is
I
how,
could.
like-
I would.
How do you make it holograms so that many people from different angles are still seeing
That's
everything?
not our problem to solve. Thank God. Thank God that's not our problem to solve. Noah could probably solve that problem, but I can't. I don't
That's
know.
true.
like Star Wars.
It's about the venue. Like it's been a thing for a long time. They had a Buddy Holly one and they had a Roy Orbison one a long time
Yeah,
ago.
they had one.
they
Will
did,
I
like-
Am when Barack Obama won the election. I remember.
Oh my God. That wasn't the song.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know.
it was.
not
It's
like
a new
week-
day. That song was released the day Obama came.
Yeah.
or got elected.
Yeah.
And he did a
It's a good
he
song,
did like a
actually.
hologram appearance on the news or whatever.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think that I think it's interesting. I don't know. I would want to get into it for the ability to go see some of that shit that I never got to see. I mean, who wouldn't love to see their favorite band? Like,
Dude, there's
we're-
like Zappa would be sick.
holy shit.
Like,
The Beatles.
Oh
if
my
you
God.
Could go
you
see
could be
like
like,
a
oh,
late Beatles
I
concert.
want to go, yeah, or like David Bowie on the
rooftop
Ziggy tour,
Oh.
and then you could theoretically get crazy into it and make a smaller home model for it, and then you could just set up the Beatles on your kitchen table and
It's like the
Have
Beatles.
them
The
perform.
Beatles. Sir,
Little Beatles.
Sir Paul was
Yeah,
like
like,
all over
I
the
wanna
place.
small
hold
ones.
your hand.
no, it would sound right. You
Well,
just have
that's
to
the
get
thing is you would
close.
improve the sound of all of that stuff, but it would be so cool. Well, I remember vividly, like there was a couple things that I remember from when I was young, and like we didn't have any of this cool shit. And I remember I was talking to my uncle Brian, and like we had this. We were working in his basement, and we were talking about like this was at like the time where CDs were relatively new, so it was like, and we were talking like, what is it going to be like in
Like what's
in the
next?
future? And we had kind of collectively come to the, I think, agreement that like music is going to be offered in like vending machines, and you could walk up and pay money, and you would have like a credit card type of a thing, and you'd scan the credit card, and the credit card would store all of your music. And then you stick your credit card in your car. You stick your credit card in your home stereo. You stick your credit card in your Walkman, and you have all of your music everywhere. And
Because we didn't have the internet yet.
that's what we thought that it was going to be like. I remember thinking about TV and
you
what
weren't far off.
and
Like,
what- no, not too far off. With TV, I imagined that they would get bigger and smaller, and then one day they would disappear completely, and you'd have like a mat in front of your couch in your
would just
living room,
project up onto
and
the
then
wall.
you'd have like people in your room with you that were not really there. Like it would be like they
Like
were
we'd
there.
be in the ER
Oh,
with
yeah,
Meredith
like it-
No,
Grey.
like
Yeah.
holograms in your living
Yeah.
room that made it feel like you were right there with them. So,
Imagine watching like a war film like that.
dude,
that would
Braveheart,
be insane.
or like MMA fighting.
Dude, 300 in there, like
300.
Turn on the Cubs game, and you're
Yeah,
like
like, whoa.
standing there. Like,
Damn, that ball's
whoa.
moving.
I need another hot dog.
Yeah, no, the UFC would be crazy. Like,
Oh my God, it would be nuts.
Or
you'd be like,
Planet
I'm gonna go
Earth.
stand, but I'm gonna go stand on the other side. I want to.
Planet
I want
Earth
a
would
better
be dope.
view. They would all be.
Do you
There's a
know-
lot of cool stuff that would
I
be
s-
awesome.
One of the things that
Star
I paid
Wars
attention
would
to
be
this
rad.
week was the top 10 TV shows of all time according to IMDb.
Okay.
IMDb.
10 Cosmos,
Never
9
saw it.
Sopranos, 8 Blue Planet, 7 Avatar: The Last Airbender, which
Hell
is
yeah.
an
Great show.
animated show. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, from like 2005 till
Weird.
8
All right.
on Nickelodeon.
All right,
Badass show.
6 The Wire, 5 Chernobyl, 4 Band of Brothers, which I just watched and it was amazing.
good.
Noah and I watched Chernobyl. That was really, really good.
We watched that
Chernobyl was
too.
really good.
Okay, but check this out. Top 3 are 3, 2, 1. 3 Planet Earth. 2 Planet Earth
David
2.
Attenborough, baby.
Planet Earth is number 3. Planet Earth 2 is number 2, and number 1 is Breaking Bad.
So
Planet Earth would be dope in hologram in your
Hell
like,
yeah! Like, oh, we're
is
there's
the wire?
the stingray.
So no, like the Wire, none of that.
The Wire
Wire
is
was on that
number
list.
Oh,
6.
was it?
I've never seen that either.
Oh,
Yeah, we
No
have some on
Game
here
of
that we need to
Thrones.
see.
no Game of Thrones.
No Game of Thrones. I
No
thought that
Twin
was
Peaks.
interesting. No Twin
Shame.
Peaks. We're watching Twin Peaks right now.
I think
again.
the big thing that you're talking
Me
about
for the first
is
time.
like the way cheaper way to scale something like that up as an experience is going to be through like the new Apple product, like the headsets.
VR situation.
Yeah, I think that's probably, you know what I mean? Like
I don't disagree.
Probably an
as
easier
long
way
as
to
everybody's
achieve it.
cool, like strapping things to their face.
yeah,
It's
but
sort of
strapping
like going
things
to
to
a
your face
silent
will turn
disco.
into, oh, are you cool with clipping something onto your glasses, which
Yeah.
will turn into, oh, but you know, you wear contact lenses to correct your vision. Why don't you wear contact lenses that have
The
AR
ability
and
to
VR
have this
in them?
stuff in there,
You know,
and then
like-
also like
Well-
delete any bad
or-
memories that you have and reprogram your
Yeah,
brain.
then
so you can
I was
be a
gonna
better
say once
person.
you get
wanna
it,
do that through
like
the
it-
eyeball,
it's a
but-
race. But for now, it's a race for how small can they make VR before Neuralink
catches it,
is-
like Neuralink
is
could put it in.
wild and or
Right.
is
Well, then they just
advanced
tap into your
enough.
optical nerve, and they don't need anything. You could just send the wrong,
Yeah.
you send new signals that say they're coming from your eyes, but they're not. They're coming from the
the whole
Neuralink,
thing
you
is
know?
augmented, so
You
you
tap
can
into your
make
optic
you can
nerve
make
and
your
you can
brain
just-
see something that's not there.
Deep dives.
There's
Yeah.
other things that do that. It reminded me of another story that I had for today
Oh, okay.
about things that make you see things. So
like eyeballs.
there was this
And
there's
cameras.
this thing that
Mirrors.
caught my eye, and it was about Butch Trucks. Butch Trucks, who is the drummer, original founding member, I believe, of the Allman Brothers Band, uncle to Derek Trucks, I believe.
Yeah.
So he put out a blog, and I think he put this out a while ago, but I hadn't read it, so I wasn't hip to the story. But he was talking about this old cotton storage barn type of a place that they converted into a venue, and how the Allmans loved it. Like, they really dug this place, and they played there. It was smallish, 2,500 people, I believe, is what he said. And he was like, we just loved the place. It sounded so good in there. It was the right size. We were really able to connect with the audience there. It was like an amazing kind of all-around experience playing at this place. And he loved it. And I believe that one night they were playing there, and the Dead came, or some of the Dead came, and Owsley came with them. Owsley being one of the roadies for the Grateful Dead, who also was the LSD guy back in the day of like the acid tests and all of that. Also the guy responsible for like the sound of the Grateful Dead in many, many ways. Like, I think Jerry's rig was designed by him. The Wall of Sound was designed by him. Absolutely, like, important character in the kind of realm of the Grateful Dead, but also was the guy that made all of the LSD. So so they show up, and somebody's sitting in, or something's going on. I believe it was a New Year's Eve, and Owsley had poured acid into the ice that was cooling all of the beer, which I thought was really interesting. I never thought about that because those are like, it doesn't take very much to make you hallucinate, make you see things, right? So he pours some into the ice and the water that's the cooler, right, for the beer. So he doesn't have to put it in the beer. He just puts it in the ice. So people are drinking the beer, and some of the water gets into your mouth, and the next thing you know, you're tripping.
And on your hands, probably too.
I'm sure. So long story short, Derek Trucks is like, oh, he got me, right? And he's like, and then he's like playing, and then all of a sudden he kind of loses it, and he has to leave the stage. And he's like, I can't do this anymore. And he leaves the stage and goes and he was like, it was the best night of my life. He wasn't like upset about it. He was more like, oh,
I'm accidentally tripping, and I wasn't ready to do that. So
something like that. So then, fast forward. They're playing together. There's a dual bill. I believe it's New Year's Eve, and it's a nationally broadcast radio show.
Excellent.
Which is like he was saying, I still think it was like the largest radio audience in the history of radio. Like he's like, this thing was coast to coast. There was like shit tons of people listening, and I'm like, fuck, we're on with the Dead. I gotta watch out for Owsley. So he's like, he plans for this. He plans ahead, and he decides that night he's definitely not going to drink the beer out of the cooler. But instead, he's got a bottle of wine, and he's just going to keep the bottle of wine with him at all times, and not let Owsley near him or his wine. So they play, and they're having a good show, and everything's good. First set goes off without a hitch. Set break, all is good. Makes it back to the drum kit for the second set. He's drumming, and the way he said it, he was like, the drum started to feel like I was hitting marshmallows, and I started to see shit. And he was like, damn, he got me again. And then he was like, I was out of my mind. And luckily, Billy Kreitzman was there. So I was like, Billy, can you play? I can't play. And then he ended up walking out and not playing and enjoying the night. He said, he was like, it was a great night. We had the best time ever. But he was like pissed because he didn't get to finish this big, huge national broadcast, blah, 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 blah. So then he's like, I had to figure out, like, how did he get me? How did he get me? And Owsley was like, well, I saw you dodging me all day. So what I did is I got a squirt gun. And his wine bottle was sitting next to him while he was drumming. He wasn't holding it. And he was squirting at the top of the
wine bottle
to drip in.
From far away, getting it to drip in, and he got him. And I thought that was a freaking funny story.
That's a great story. And to be fair, like, I'm just
I'd be
assuming.
Pissed.
But
like,
oh my God!
It's
Can you
not
imagine?
like water guns
dude,
in
like,
the
don't
late
dose me
60s
tonight.
were super soakers. None of that existed.
Oh no,
so,
we're talking little
like
shitty squirt gun.
shitty,
yeah, like
50
hard plastic,
cent.
clear. Like
Right.
Owsley's sitting on the side of the stage, like
trying to get like 12
Praying.
feet, like just hoping he can get it in there.
Yeah, he's squeezing it really hard, really
Doesn't
fast.
that
trying
say
to get it
something
to
that he's
shoot
like happy to
farther.
just waste all this acid, spraying it everywhere on the hope
Just
of
to
getting
get
a
it
little bit
on
into
the
the
wine
lip of a
bottle.
wine
Yeah.
bottle.
Well, we saw Noah. You were playing that thing. What was that thing?
It's like some YouTube documentary.
That was
Yeah.
so
I
fun.
could put a link
with
to
the
it.
Lord
Oh
of the
man,
Rings
it was
analogy.
like amazing looking at Bear. Owsley's nickname was Bear, and there's Bear's Choice. There's there's a local beer that is sold.
Are the dancing bears
He
because
drew
of
them.
bear?
He drew the dancing bears.
He also drew the Steely.
Yes, I believe that is true. Yeah,
They said
that
in
came
the-
from that.
They said that in the.
But he's like, yeah, so he
documentary.
learned how to make the shit. And then he's like, and the thing is it's not that hard to make. But once you make it, you have like a real lot.
yeah, he's like, it's hard to make a little of it.
Yeah, you can't make a little.
So I just started giving it away.
Which I
Well,
thought,
what
yeah.
else are you gonna do?
Well, that's totally what he did. And that was like a huge
He's
thing.
like, rub down the rails with it.
Speaking of that, there's I saw that they're doing a tribute show for Stanley Mouse. Like
Ooh.
or maybe it's a record. I think it actually might be a record, which is pretty cool.
It is cool.
Stanley Mouse, the man, he's the Skull and Roses, big time stuff. And there's a record, I believe, coming out that is in tribute to him, probably going to help him monetarily, I would hope, and create some good vibes.
Very cool.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I read another thing this week that was talking about the B-52s.
Okay.
B-52s. Everybody knows the B-52s, right?
Yeah, the plane.
The plane?
The bomber.
The B-52
Oh, the
bomber.
B-52 bomber. No. I'm thinking people know, like, Love Shack.
Rock Lobster.
Rock Lobster.
Rome.
If you want to.
If you want to. That was all, well, not Rock Lobster, but the other two were one record. That band.
Such a good band.
Okay, so everybody knows Fred Schneider, the guy with the. He's got such a distinct voice, and everybody knows who he is. Everybody also knows. I hope that everybody also knows Kate Pearson, who
is the female that most recognizable.
I think so, and she also had like kind of she sang on the
REM
Shiny Happy People.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She sang on many other things, and she's got a very distinct and beautiful voice. I love her voice. But I was reading Cindy Wilson was also in that band. She was the other singer, and I went out of my way to listen to a bunch of what she did. She actually was took lead on many of the songs. Excuse me. On the early records, had some singles herself, and was absolutely amazing. And I just think I wanted to say that out loud so that we could kind of just give her some props and ask everybody in this room and out there in podcast land to give those early B-52s records a spin. They're really, really good.
I will do that this week.
Tagging onto that, Bert Kreischer did one of the funniest things that I've ever seen this week when he was plugging his Nashville shows, I guess. And he's standing there and he's, not naked, but he's got like
Shirtless.
A Speedo on, right? Just a Speedo.
Okay.
And the Speedo is denim. I sent this to you. Did you see this?
I did not.
Oh my God. You guys have to watch this. And he's
a denim Speedo.
Denim Speedo, naked, and then he's got a guitar. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing with the guitar, Bert? Like, come on. And,
Bert.
And
He can kind of play the guitar.
yes, he can. And so he just starts strumming a G chord, and he warns everybody before he starts. He goes, when I sing, I kind of sound like the B-52s guy. And then he sings Rocky Top.
Oh.
And it is something to watch.
All right.
I think that's like homework. Everybody needs to check it out. It was freaking hilarious. I was laughing out loud. I was like sitting on my, listening to my my AirPods, and I was literally like laughing out loud watching this happen.
Dude,
it was so fucking fun.
He had Shane Gillis on his podcast at one point.
God.
And he sits down and he's like, "Hey Shane, like I wrote this song on the guitar. Can I play it for you?" And Shane's like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "Okay, just let me know what you think after." Right? And Shane's like, "Yeah, sure, of course, whatever." So he starts playing fucking Wagon Wheel. and he finishes and he's like, "So what do you think?" And Shane goes, "Fucking stupid." And he's like, "That's a real song." And he goes, "Yeah, I knew that was a song. That was the stupid part." He's like, "You really picked like the most popular country song in the last 5 years."
Who wrote Wagon Wheel?
Bob Dylan.
Very good.
Very good.
Popularly covered by Hootie.
Darius
D. Rutger.
Darius Rucker.
Darius. Hootie. Hootie's going on. I saw Hootie's playing. There's like a festival with Hootie.
He only wants to be with you.
There's a
Just
festival.
let her cry about it. It'll be fine.
There's a festival with Hootie. All right. I'm going to say a name. You guys tell me if you know who it is.
Okay.
James Jamerson.
James Jamerson?
Yeah,
No.
No.
of course I do.
Okay. What do you know about him?
James Jamerson
Mhm.
is a legendary bassist.
With a fat L, like fat fat legendary with a fat big capital L and an exclamation point, triple underline.
Yeah, triple underline.
Yeah. What else you know
sure.
about him?
My favorite James Jamerson story is that when he cut the bass line for What's Going On. the
Oh,
Marvin
that's
Gaye
what I learned
song.
about this week. Yeah,
Oh, it's
tell it.
amazing. It's
Tell
great.
it.
Okay, so Marvin Gaye is in the studio in Motown in Detroit.
Let me give another little bit of color about James Jamerson.
Yeah.
56 number one hits.
Oh, yeah, no,
he plays
amazing.
on 56. We're
Amazing.
talking Can't
plays
Hurry
bass?
Love, My Girl, Reach Out and I'll Be There.
The bass line on those songs is crazy.
Dude,
on
this
some of
guy's
them.
the fucking man.
The
Okay.
bass line in Ain't No Mountain High Enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. All him. There's
Badass.
some great stuff.
Oh, I want to
Awesome.
look him
What
up
song-
and listen to everything he's ever played on.
What song is What's Going On?
That's the opening track on
Mercy,
the
mercy me.
Marvin Gaye album,
What's
Going On.
What's going
That album
on?
is like
What's going
a
Yeah.
very big, important, awesome album you should listen to sometime.
That's the
It's okay.
number one ranked album on the Rolling Stone Top 500.
Oh, you're going to give us number
Oh,
one, huh?
shit. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, pretty important.
Go ahead.
So,
This-
What's Going On? Brother. Mother. So, he has the idea, Marvin Gaye has the idea for What's Going On, and is at the studio, and he starts
Hitsville,
to,
USA.
starts
Detroit.
to track it, but it's like late at night. It's like 2, 3 in the morning. If you have any variation on the details, you chime in.
I just
But,
have that. I know. I know what happened.
Yeah.
And
So he's got the song in his head. He's got a little demo he's starting to put together of the song. And it's late at night, and he calls up James Jamerson, who's the guy that would be doing the job. And
can't find him.
it's hard to get a hold of James.
You're not finding him. They're like looking for James. He needs to come in, and we need him to
record.
play bass on this.
And it's 2:00 in the
And
morning.
it's Marvin fucking Gaye. It's not like
Right.
It's not like
Joe Smith.
no. This is not a joke. Marvin's like, I need the dude.
So I can't even recall the details as to how they
So
get him in.
What happened was
They
Marvin
send
went
someone
out,
Yeah,
and he started going to the places where he
would
Thought
frequent.
he might
liked
find
to
James.
drink.
Yeah.
Okay.
and he found him.
Yeah.
And he dragged his ass back to the to the studio.
Drunk.
He was like, "You gotta
Hammered.
come with me,"
Yeah. So a drunk James Jamerson goes back to the studio
Excellent.
and
and not just drunk,
proceeds. Okay.
so drunk.
Exceedingly drunk. It's 3 in the morning, right? Like it's not on a night off. This
Right.
wasn't like
So
I
he's
was
been
at the
out for a
studio and
while.
yeah. So he comes in, proceeds to listen to what they've got prepared once, start to finish, listens to the song,
And then just lays it down.
and then literally lays down on the ground and plays the bass line in one take
Laying
from the
down
ground with his
from
eyes
He
his
was
back.
closed.
probably fucking spinning.
He was
He's
just-
probably like, I can't stand anymore.
It's pretty great.
That's
Insane. hilarious.
so that and I believe that was like the track, like that was
from what I
the
understand,
recording
yeah.
that you hear
Version.
was Jamerson laying on his back, hammered on the studio floor.
So that's where the term "lay it down" comes from.
Lay it down.
Probably
Maybe.
not.
No, definitely not.
Probably older than that.
Oh yeah, I would think
Just
so.
just it being laid down on tape or laid down on film, I would imagine, right?
I heard
I don't know.
I heard a story that on the lay it down thing. What do you call that? When you what do you call those things? Those sayings?
What? Like an idiom? Not really.
Is it?
An idiom would be like more of like a colloquialized term
I don't
that
know,
like
just a phrase.
the cat's out of the bag, I think is an idiom. I'm not at all talking about a cat or a bag when I'm saying that, but you know what I'm saying,
It's raining cats and dogs.
right?
Well, you're saying it's raining though. I don't know.
But
Yeah, let's figure it out. We can
I don't
do
know.
this. I don't have my phone.
what are you looking for? Like a
So I wanted to know what they called them because
slang?
I got one of these. So they used to use urine to tan animal skins.
yeah,
Correct.
You guys know this?
Yes.
sure.
So what would happen was families would all pee into a pot, and then once a day, they would take the pot down to the local tannery, and they would sell it.
Oh, I
Left
thought
without
you
a pot to
used
piss in?
animal.
And if you had to do this to survive, you were piss poor.
Ah.
But then worse, there were people that were really poor that couldn't even afford
A
to
pot to piss in.
buy a pot, and therefore they didn't have a pot to piss in. It's an interesting one.
That is interesting.
I didn't. So what do you call? So we don't know what you call those.
That I think. Well, I think it's an idiom.
Is it an idiom?
I think so.
What's a syllogism? Because I feel like that might be it too. That's like definitely a.
I don't know.
We're gonna have to do some Google searching.
I don't have my phone because my phone does the logo.
You normally have your little tabbly wabbly up in
An
front of you.
instance
my
of
little
a form of
tabbly-wabbly.
reasoning in which a conclusion is drawn, whether validity or whether valid or not, that's spelled incorrectly in the dictionary, from two given or assumed propositions or premises, each of which shares a term with the conclusion and shares a common or middle term not present in the conclusion.
Right. It's deductive reasoning.
Yes.
The idea.
All dogs are
Deductive
animals. All animals have 4 legs. Therefore,
Got it.
all dogs have 4 legs.
Oh, so I was way wrong. I just
Yeah,
remembered
not
that
at all.
was a word.
that's a word.
to describe something. in
But,
the
you
English
know,
language.
we appreciate your help there. We all learned something new.
Fair enough.
Okay, can I talk about something else that somebody learned this week?
Did somebody learn?
Well, I learned this week that based on a study that's being done.
Oh yeah, let's hear it. I'm chomping at the bit. Let's go.
Okay, University of Tokyo is
UT.
doing a study. The goal of the study is to find ways to explore and measure quantifiable physical responses to music.
Yes.
Such as heart rate changes, things like that. Because they feel like if they get a better understanding of those things, it'll help with the potential for therapeutic health, mental health,
Jam sessions.
stress relief. So they had 527 people participate in this.
Yes.
They took 8 4-chord sequences based on popular Billboard songs.
Mm-hmm.
And they separated them between musical chord sequences that were predictable patterns and chord sequences that were unpredictable patterns.
Mm-hmm.
And what they found was if it's a predictable pattern, it evokes calmness and satisfaction and tends to affect your stomach. When they played surprising and unpredictable patterns, it stirs stronger emotions and sensations in your heart that are tied to pleasure.
Well, I think they should keep working on that.
Pretty interesting. Both
I
progressions
think it's just good.
reduce
It's good
negative
that people.
feelings and stress.
It's pretty fucking clear that music is very, very important to a somewhat large subset of humanity, right?
Yeah.
And there's a reason why that is, and the reason likely has to do with the fact that it makes us feel good in some way, shape, or form, and it is that way. I mean, I honestly, when I think about music and how important it is to me, I think about I literally can. It's like one of the mechanisms that I can use to recall things. Like I remember, hearing a song or if there was a song playing or the first time I heard a song, I'm talking a long time ago, when I was a kid.
Yes.
I can remember what it felt like to feel that feeling the first time.
Right.
And it puts me kind of really back in that space. And then you think about, okay, well, it gives me goosebumps. And then you think about, well, I can I'm an otherwise fat bald guy, and I can go and dance for 3 hours straight at a goose show or a fish show or whatever, and
feel it.
And it makes me feel more alive than I typically do in my life. And you think about all of that stuff, that's real. That's very real. Then you think about dementia and Alzheimer's folks that are we've seen that video where the old World War II vet is in a memory care facility, and his old buddy comes in and he brings his piano, the guy's piano, and then he brings his trumpet and he starts playing the trumpet, and the dude just starts playing,
right. It's
the
in your
jitterbug
fabric
or
of who
whatever,
you are.
and it's innately instilled in his entire thing. And then you start thinking of it's just a connector. It's
It is.
I saw Neil Young. He was on. He was talking to. I think it was Dan Rather. And Dan was like, "How did you decide to be a musician?" And he was like, the answer that he gave was really good, and I can't quote it perfectly, but basically what he said is, people are very sensitive, and when you can connect with people, when you can feel this in a way in which music is a thing that people can feel, and that it's a vehicle basically to connect with people. And as soon as I figured that out, like, that's what I wanted to do with my life. Like, I just wanted, because it's a deep rooted connection. You listen to Trey, and Trey's like, the feeling that Trey gets when he, and I can't put feelings in, I can't say I know what Trey feels, but I certainly can. The guy has talked about the connection that he has with the audience so often, and how he comes out and doesn't know what he's going to play, and he sees and feels what it feels like to be in that spot on that stage with that audience,
In
and
that moment.
just instantly knows, like, this is going to be that, and that's going to, and like, it's just it's I don't know. You take that into consideration, and then you take, like, we've been getting into the 420 hertz. Is that it?
432.
The 432 hertz sleeping hertz frequency, and we've been playing it over our, like, speakers in our room for a couple weeks now, and it's like totally changed our ability to sleep at night. Not only has it totally changed our ability to sleep at night, but the dogs are less restless. The dogs are like, there's something going on here, and it's bigger than just basic shit. So I'm glad that the University of Tokyo is rocking some dollars into this problem, or it's not, I wouldn't call it a problem. I think they're researching this idea, because I think there's a whole lot more to it than meets the eye. It's not simple. It's complex, but I do believe that there's a lot behind it, and I believe that music can do all sorts of things.
Totally. Mason?
Fuck you all.
Yeah, no, I think that's that reminded me of, there was a study I saw probably like a month and a half ago. I showed it to you. I'd have to do some research to figure out where it came from. I think it was somewhere in Europe, or maybe in Asia. They were doing a study, I think Europe, of they did like a body scan while playing different kinds of music.
Like a CT to watch your brain or your whole body?
Your whole body.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think mainly focused on like the heat traces
Sure.
in your body, or the heat differential or something.
Yeah.
So, like, what excites you when you're listening to music?
Yeah, exactly. Or what?
Which
Like,
part
where
of
do
you?
you
Where
feel
you get
it?
excited?
Where do you feel it? Yeah, and
Shins.
So it was basically like
It's the palms.
It's actually only when I listen to the Shins, but my shins get crazy hot.
only
That's
for the
why they
shins.
named
Though.
themselves the Shins. They were doing this heat scan. The
Yeah.
thermal, they have thermal headsets,
Yeah.
and we're watching where people were getting hot and bothered when listening to their music, and they were like, "Oh, we'll name ourselves the Shins."
All right.
Yeah, but
Sorry,
the basic sentiment of it was,
So where do people feel it?
like calmer, sadder music you feel like in your chest and in your torso, and then like more exciting dancier music you feel in your extremities.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know about all that. Feels like a bunch of mumbo jumbo to me.
Well, that's why you
Mumbo
don't.
jumbo.
I
When
mean,
you look
that's
at
why
a
you
red
don't want to.
painting, your
if it's a
cheeks will
sad
blush.
song,
When you
you-
look at a yellow painting, you will want to cry.
Well, I
When
don't
you-
know.
Like, I don't know. Who knows? They're collecting data somehow. I'm not trying to
No,
scrutinize.
it's like they
Just
played music and did a body scan of a bunch of
obviously
people.
there's something
so
very like
there's
innately
science behind
special about how people respond to music, and
I would
I
like
just-
them to do a study on people that say they don't like music and
Yeah.
see if they just don't
They're all
have any
serial killers.
physiological response. Maybe they don't.
What were we gonna say, Noah?
or like, why though?
I mean, I don't know. My point was that it was going to be like music is very much something that is a powerful thing to people and people resonate with, but there's like a level to which, of course, there's like the music therapy side of things, and there are like ways in which, music can be used as a tool, and I'm totally like not saying that I wouldn't support anything like that, but I think that there is like the kind of thing that Mason's describing of like, well, let's check where people feel music. Like in my perspective, it seems like a bit of like just
you never
mumbo
know.
jumbo. It's like,
and different people respond to different styles of music and kinds of music.
Each person's
some people hear
unique experience.
Rap music and do this, and other
be very
people are
different.
like loving it, right? So who knows? Honestly,
Do
we
it
should
for
write
a couple times.
We should write a quick song that's like us on YouTube, Spotify, honey. I love your mama.
do it,
I
but
want some
it should sort of
money. We're
sound
not
like,
doing this for fun. We're doing this to.
Remember you. It should be like
Yeah.
that song.
Yeah.
Took a turn very quickly there.
Please
Dad.
subscribe
We're not
to
doing this for
us.
fun.
If for no
Need to
dollars
eat
a day.
food and pay my mortgage.
So, in 1976, George Harrison was being interviewed by India Today, and he was giving praise to people like Smokey Robinson and Stevie Wonder and Bob Dylan. But in that interview, he also threw some shade, which I was unaware of.
Oh, I think I might have seen this.
He apparently, in that interview,
Elton John, right?
said that Elton John completely lacks originality and that his music is formulaic. He's like, throw this lyric in and that chord progression, shake it up, and you've got, Elton's biggest next hit.
Yeah.
He gave shit to Rod Stewart in that interview, where he was like, his music is actually slowly getting better, but as far as a person goes, he's got a brain that's as small as a marble.
Nice.
And then he also gave shit to David Bowie, even though Bowie had just done the duet with Lennon and whatever, and he said that apparently he said that David Bowie needs to make up his mind on what sexy is and decide what kind of music he's going to play.
All right. Well,
I mean,
So the
That's a
Quiet
lot of
Beatle,
opinions
so
from
the
George.
Quiet Beatle, went off.
he had a day. All right.
he
We
had
all have
himself a
days.
day.
George had a day.
Yeah, I mean, Bowie is definitely one of those guys who's like, I'm just gonna play whatever I come up with, or
Are you going to protect him?
no, I'm saying
Or do you not believe that David Bowie needed to just decide what sexy was going to be and what kind of music he wanted to play or
well,
not?
I don't give a shit about what sexy is. I don't think it matters at all. And I think that he is a more interesting guy because of the way he changed up his music.
Dude, I'm right there with you.
But really,
As
what I was going to
is
say
everyone.
is George would probably have a large problem with King Gizzard,
Yeah, probably.
considering how
Schizophrenic
often they
it is,
change up their
don't know.
sound.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, they've like had a punk or a metal album that they came out with, and they've got their other
I
stuff.
Just would never think like that. I could think what George Harrison would think about something. You know what I mean?
That's
Given this
not what I
example-
was doing. I was
Well,
saying if he didn't like that Bowie
Yeah, I don't know.
couldn't pick a lane, he'd probably
I
struggle
saw
with
some interesting
other
Beatle
more
news
modern artists.
this week,
Okay.
which was I don't know if
I'm
it
telling
was
you, the Beatles were like is this like Beatles week or something? I feel like I saw so much about the Beatles this week.
I
don't know.
I feel like there's been a lot. There's like a couple of different anniversaries. I think recently.
Or maybe it's the Paul McCartney, Beyonce, Blackbird thing.
Paul McCartney did Blackbird. I think that like it wasn't the anniversary of John's death like
No,
something
that's
recently.
December.
I think it was
I don't
actually.
know.
His
I think
birthday.
it's
Their
birthdays or
Willie
something.
covered,
It was,
Something
there was
for his
something going
birthday.
on,
Something
recently.
which
for
means
John's
it was
birthday.
John's birthday, I think, this week.
But
Yeah.
I didn't.
regardless, it was maybe a handful of days ago now. I saw it the day after it happened, and I don't know if it was the venue name didn't look very familiar, but it could have been like at where the Cavern Club was in Germany or
Yeah.
something. There was like a small spot that hosted a group. I can't remember what they named themselves, but it was 4 sons. It was Julian, or no, it was Sean, and it was
No, I think it was Julian.
James McCartney. I think.
Julian's the older one, right?
No, it was Sean
And Danny?
Ono Lennon. and one of Ringo's boys and Danny Harrison did a show together.
This week?
Like a handful of days ago.
Oh,
That's
shit.
pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty crazy. I found out about it the day afterwards, but
We should have gone.
Yeah, and they played all Rolling
Yeah.
Stones music.
I don't know.
I saw a picture of Danny, another picture of Danny from last year, next to a picture of George
Yeah.
around the same age,
They're
and
like
it is like
mirrors.
unbelievable how
It's
similar those two people look.
It's pretty crazy.
Oh my god!
The other one that I was thinking about when we started talking about the Harrison quote was in terms of the David Bowies of the world. I do find it kind of like funny in a sense that like people like Bowie, people like Prince have existed for decades, remaining somewhat like androgynous and
Elusive.
intentionally mysterious about their like identity and wear nail polish and dye your hair. And it's like you still see like this week there was another headline about Caleb Williams, our
Because he wears nail
top
polish.
prospect, because he was wearing pink nail polish. Someone caught him, and it was like, this is the first true Gen Z, potential NFL quarterback. What do people think about it? And it's like, dude,
Cool.
if he's a great quarterback,
Can he
he's
win?
a great quarterback. Like, I don't know,
He
you know
paints
what I
his
mean?
nails. Who cares?
I don't give a
Catchers
shit.
paint their nails.
Win the
Cat-
damn game.
Every catcher in the MLB paints their nails.
Right.
Win the damn game.
It's just funny.
Maybe he wears pink nail polish and everybody sees his hand better. I don't know.
So I learned another thing about the Beatles this week, which
Yeah,
is
I don't know.
the quote that I've been very, very guilty of spreading around town, which is John Lennon saying Ringo's not the
even
best drummer in the band. Right. Total bullshit.
Yeah.
What?
It's total bullshit. It was bullshit. Lennon said, I never said that. And it came from a comedy show on the BBC in 1981.
Classic. Who's laughing
Okay,
now?
I'm sorry.
Interesting.
Something about that doesn't add up, sweetheart.
Well, maybe Lennon didn't say it. I think he did. When did John Lennon die?
died in 80.
Okay, so then he probably didn't say that he didn't say it.
Okay.
But they did play the bit from the show that was in 1981,
Okay.
and the guy was like, he's not even the best. Whatever.
Okay, so you have told many people this.
I have.
And we've
So
all
I have
spread your
told many
lies.
people
know.
this.
Consider this
We've
our
spread it
public
like
apology.
a disease.
This is the public apology. I thought that it was real.
Ringo,
Sorry, Sean.
John,
And I thought
very
Paul
sorry.
was dead.
It's over.
And,
We will never say this again.
So, and I think this is my last one on the Beatles, but Quincy Jones was interviewed,
Wait, he's not a Beatle.
and
He was the fifth Beatle.
He in the interview, it was in like the 80s, I think. He in the interview said that the Beatles were the worst musicians in the world, and that Paul's bass playing was like god awful. And Jones recalled in the interview, he was doing a session with Ringo, and Ringo spent like multiple hours on this one drum part and couldn't get it. And so finally he just sent Ringo out. He was like, dude, just go take a break. And then he called in another drummer who came and tracked it and did it in like the first take, and it was perfect. And then when he came back, Quincy spun it up for him, and Ringo was like, oh, I guess it's not that bad. And Ringo was like, dude, it's not fucking you. And sent shockwaves through the world. Paul was pissed, called him up and was like, what's up, Quincy? How's it going? And Quincy, he was like, dude, I didn't say that. And what, he tried to backtrack it and make it seem like the label or the magazine had
Misquoted
minced
him or
his
whatever.
words or whatever. Apparently Paul didn't believe him and was like, yeah, whatever.
Thanks, Quincy.
So how sure are we that this one is real? Are we 100% confident?
we don't know.
I wasn't there.
It's part of the Beatles lore.
Did you read the magazine article? How did you hear about it?
It was
It
I
was
don't
a
want to run
TikTok?
into. I don't want to have our public apology, have our clean slate, and then immediately go back in on
Tarnish
some
it.
No.
slanderous beatling.
No, this one's true. This one's true. We'll just leave it at
Believe
that.
me.
You know what though? I was actually thinking about the podcast, and we should put a disclaimer on it, because it's like I hear
all of
things,
these things come from
I read things,
hearsay.
you hear things, you
It's
read
all
things.
hearsay.
Well, some of it is actually like pretty well documented, but even that's like really like it's in writing from 20 years ago. Is that true? You never know. I think everything that I'm saying is true, but you never know. You need to have disclaimers everywhere these days.
I guess so.
Yes, I guess so.
Okay, I've got something fun and quick.
Okay.
Keith Richards gave an interview apparently where
Move
he
on
was
to the
talking about
Stones.
the Beach Boys
Yeah.
and how much respect he had for 3 songs of theirs.
Yeah.
Apparently, after that interview was given, Brian Wilson replied to that interview and said that he always felt like they were not. He always felt like the competition with the Beach Boys was between the Beach Boys and the Beatles, and that the Rolling Stones were kind of in a different lane music wise.
Yeah.
And that he always felt like
Early on, especially.
the Beach Boys had really strong vocals and the Rolling Stones had really good instrument skills. So that's that. Do you want to guess what Keith Richards' top 3 Beatles or Beach Boys songs are?
Oh, that got me. I lost the train for a second, but
So he has 2 that are considered B-sides, and then he gave one that's like a A-side.
Don't know. God only knows.
Nope.
Yeah, no, it's going to be like Little Deuce Coupe.
No.
I don't know.
I Get Around.
Yes. That's
Okay.
his
That's the
A-side.
popular one.
What are the
I don't.
other
I
2?
can't guess the B.
Don't Worry, Baby,
Yep.
and
beautiful.
In My Room.
I love In My Room.
Yep. I knew you did. That's why I told you.
Good.
I Get Around's a great song.
You just like Keith Richards, Dad. Just exactly like him.
Chief Keef.
That's a different dude.
Completely different human.
Oh, original Keef, I think, is his Instagram handle. It's Keef, not Keith.
Right.
Yeah, he's the man.
Keith.
It's amazing that he outlived, Shane McGowan, Sinead O'Connor,
Dude,
Prince, Michael Jackson.
Tom Petty.
So
TP.
many people. Him and
Unbelievable.
Willie.
Yeah, him and Willie.
Yeah.
Him and Willie. It's pretty wild. I'm hearing that, like, Dolly and Willie and Sturgill and Tyler, like, all the country,
Folk.
their numbers are going through the roof because of this Beyonce record.
People are saying good things about
Beyonce
it.
puts
I
out a
haven't
country
listened to
record.
it.
All the rest of country music, is the beneficiary
Well,
of
to
that.
be honest, like I feel like if I was going to sit down and listen to the Beyonce album, I would probably like listen to real Jolene and then her Jolene and then whatever the real version and then her version and then, like I wouldn't just sit down and listen to Beyonce. I would
All right.
at least the
AB
first
it.
time through I'd listen to it comparing
Sure.
them to their
Sure. I think that makes sense.
original recordings.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like a sommelier of songs.
Yeah.
All right. So, who told me about the 100th birthday that happened this week? One of you guys mentioned it. Do you remember?
I don't remember.
I may have.
Marlon Brando's
Oh, yeah.
100th birthday is this week.
Oh,
Went
that's
to New
crazy.
Trier.
Might even have been today. Yeah.
Didn't he?
It wasn't today because I read this other thing about Marlon Brando today. That
Didn't
was
he go to New Trier? First things first.
Oh shit! I think he
No.
did. I
did?
think he might have. I think he
I'm
might have.
checking.
No
I
way.
believe he did. Oh,
No, that was
I learned
Scorsese.
something about Marlon Brando today that I never knew, and I think that the world would benefit from knowing, which is that not only is he celebrating his 100th birthday today, I also saw because of his 100th birthday, somebody posted a picture.
Oh. No, he went to Libertyville High School.
Oh, he went to high school with.
Interesting.
He also apparently
Tom
worked at
Morello?
the movie theater in town.
That is
Oh,
amazing.
we knew that.
Yes, I forgot
I
about
knew
Marlon
that.
Brando.
That was like a fun fact that we.
But I
learned
saw a
about the
picture of the mouth
movie
guard that he
theater.
used in The Godfather, and I don't know if you remember The Godfather, but he had like the very wide, like
Yeah.
weird jaw. He had this
Yeah.
mouthpiece that he had in there, and I saw a picture of it this week. Anyway, the interesting piece that I learned was that in the 90s, he sought a patent for his invention that he had created that was designed to tune conga drums. he was awarded one of the 4 patents that he was asking
It's the
for
most random thing I've ever heard.
in 2002, and though he never saw it fulfilled, it frustrated the shit out of him. And they had thought that all 3 drum prototypes that he had made for the patent applications were they had all disappeared, but one was found after his death.
A Brando bongo?
A Brando bongo tuner.
The Brando bongo-matic?
The BBT.
I think it should be the Brando Congo-matic.
So Marlon Brando
congas or
was a
bongos?
Marlon Congo.
Congos.
Conga.
Congo drum?
I think they're
Congo bongo.
Well, Congo
enthusiast.
is
I
the
think the-
location on Earth.
The
Conga.
conga drums.
The Congo is a place.
Bongo.
The Congo, the bongo,
or according
the
to Jeff
conga.
from Goose, they're kind of just all bongos because that's what people say.
People all call them
those
bongos.
are those giant bongos.
The bongos.
Yeah, the
big
giant bongo.
bongos.
The giant bongos are the congas.
Who doesn't like giant
Jeff from
bongos?
Goose.
And the Congo is like the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
No, separate. Just Congo. Congo.co.uk.
I think there's like the Congo River too.
There is.
Yeah,
Of course there
I'm a
is.
genius.
I think
Man.
Congo River.
We're in
Interesting.
Chicago.
You guys know who David Wells is? Pitcher? No, it's from when you were young.
HG.
HG?
HG Wells.
No.
Orson Welles.
No.
Orson.
David Wells. He's a big burly dude.
Yeah, I
Pitched
don't
for
know.
the Yankees. He's
I
a
don't know.
beast.
Maybe
He
if I saw a picture of him.
he one day was shopping and he bought for $2,500 a game worn Babe Ruth Yankees cap.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw this. It was cool.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times. I actually looked it up, and there is a YouTube video of him talking about it. So I feel pretty confident that this is what happened.
This one's true. Can we get like a stamp?
So
like
From
he-
the
live,
source's
live
mouth.
from the lake.
So he buys a
confirmed.
freaking game worn Yankees hat of Babe Ruth, and he wants to wear it while he's playing. And he's like,
Oh, but it's not the
Joe
uniform.
Torre is the manager, and he's like, no, David, you can't wear it. And he's like,
The
I
fuck
want to fucking
can't.
wear it. And he's like, no, David, you can't wear it. And he's like, please let me wear it. No, David, you can't wear it. So then
Where's it anyways?
he's like, yeah, right. So he basically, they come out from a different place. He's starting the game, I believe, and they all come running out, and he's got the hat on, and Torrey's pissed at him. And it gets lots of chatter and all this, activity, and people are talking about it, and people are talking about the hat and this, that, and the other.
Today's league,
He
he's
was
getting fined.
fined-
Oh,
he-
okay, I was gonna say he's getting fined for sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. He did not buy it for $2,500. He bought it for $35,000.
Okay.
And he made mention in the video. He's like, and my friends were all like giving me shit for paying all this money for the thing. And I was like, whatever. They fined him $2,500. Joe Torre was like, you owe me $2,500 if you for wearing that hat. And he was like, fine. And so he paid Joe Torre or the Yankees $2,500
So he's-
in singles.
So he's 3,750 or whatever.
He pays him in singles, holds onto the hat. He got that. He made the hat more famous, and then 13 years later, he sold it for $535,000.
Well, because then it said Babe Ruth and David Wells both game worn hat,
Yeah, it's even cooler. But
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty good one.
and he wore it, and even though he wasn't supposed to, and he got in trouble for wearing it. That's dope.
Isn't that interesting?
Totally cool.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Gotta love baseball.
Also, like, kind of ballsy. Like, that's Babe Ruth's hat.
Yeah, like how on earth do you deserve to wear that hat? Like
Yeah,
what-
like you better throw a no hitter.
Yeah, like
if
something
you're wearing
good.
Babe Ruth's hat.
Something good better happen.
Yeah,
Better
like
call your shot and
If you
make
take
it.
Babe Ruth's bat up to the plate, you better launch that thing. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. Yeah, I would think that I think you'd get in even more trouble today if you did that.
I think that now I think you would get in even more.
They'd
trouble.
actually probably use it being a part of baseball history against you too.
Yeah,
I just remember like in like 2015 or 2016 and 2017, Ben Zobrist was wearing he wore the like
wrong cleats.
Well, he made a deal with New Balance where they made him an old school pair of cleats that were all black with the big tongue flap to cover the laces.
This. Yeah.
And then he also had them make him a pair of PF Flyers that had spikes on the bottom. Those were freaking awesome.
Yeah, you wish you had those, don't
I
you?
really did. I really wanted a pair. But he ended up getting fined because the cleats weren't 51% team color.
Right.
Or something like that. So there's like a bunch of... I think that you would probably get nailed pretty hard for trying to wear an old hat.
Yeah.
Like if the logo's different at all.
Right. No, I totally agree. Especially in New York. The Yankees
or
are
the
like,
color.
you can't have a beard.
It's not
you
a
have
faded black. It's a
Yeah.
faded black, not a sharp black.
Yeah,
You're not
it's
allowed
not
to go
right.
out there.
You owe us money.
Whatever.
What is that? How is that helpful to the world? I don't know, but that's what they're doing.
Yeah, no, that should be like you have to give us the hat when you're retired.
Whatever.
Or you have to sell it to us. Whatever, I don't know. Dumb things to get in trouble for.
Dumb things to get in trouble for. Totally agree.
Well, it's dumb that they got him in trouble for that. Like I feel
He
like
didn't get in trouble. He was making
he got
millions of dollars.
fined,
He had
yeah.
enough cash to spend $35,000
No, I
for
know,
a hat.
but that's
they
them
charged him
getting him in
$2,500
trouble.
and his manager yelled at him. I'm sure he does. He's a big boy. Didn't
Yeah,
give
he's
a
fine.
shit. And he was like, all right, whatever. And then he further got some satisfaction by paying them in singles. I'm sure that would have been fun too.
Yeah,
It's like,
walk in with a
all right,
duffel
here you
bag
go, guys.
full of change.
Here's your $2,500 in singles. Thanks a lot. Whatever. So he got something out of it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I
And,
just think
and
the
the hat
wardrobe fines
became
are
just
stupid.
that much. It became it's a more famous hat. He sold it for a ton of cash. He made $500,000. 13 years. Loves it.
Walks out ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Stuart Copeland.
Oh, did I tell you about that thing I saw about him?
What about him?
The clip on Instagram
What about him?
of him drumming. He lays down. He's drumming for a song. And Sting looks at him and he's like, "Chill out, like, take it a little bit easier on that drum fill." And Stuart looks at him and says something along the lines of, "Are you fucking for real? Because I'm pretty sure I just laid down a drum track that they're going to be talking about in Drummer Weekly magazine for the next 4 years."
I've heard Trey talk about him.
And Sting was like, "Okay, I guess it's fine."
He's funny on Instagram. His he's funny. Like he's very back up a second. Trey, I've heard Trey talk about him because Trey Oysterhead is Stuart Copeland and Trey and Les Claypool. And Trey has said, like, make no, like, understand this. That band, The Police, was Stuart's band. That was, but Stuart, like, on his Instagram, he's like, yeah, my band, whatever. He's like, but Sting wrote all the hits. Like, Sting was the guy. Like, are you kidding me? Like, he wrote every, like, Roxanne and Every Breath You Take. And he just, he can ramble off every single hit that they ever had. And they had shit tons of them. But I learned something about him from him, which was that, like, the band, the Police had been around and they were, like, kind of, and the way he explains it is he and Sting had kind of found each other and they were playing together and they were just making a lot of noise and it sucked, but they, like, knew that it was working. And then when they got Andy Sumner to come, it was like that kind of opened up the road so that Sting could write all of the songs and the band could work the way that the band needed to work. But in 1978, it wasn't working. And so one of the things that Stuart did was he made a record, and he made it under the name Clark Kent, and he played all of the instruments and even sang on the record and didn't really think anything of it. He put it out, and he's like, and then the next thing I know, the BBC added it to the Radio 1 playlist and they invited him to come to Top of the Pops to be on TV to play the song. And he was like, he put this out like intentionally anonymously because he was actually trying to push the band The Police. And he like mistakenly,
He's like, I can't play drums and bass and guitar and sing all at the same time.
Right, so he comes
and
out,
I don't want to.
right. So he's like, so he's like, I played everything. So what is I going to do? He's like, so I brought Andy and Sting to play on TV. And so the first time that the Police ever played on TV, they actually played on TV as Clark Kent. And what he said was, he actually, the first time we ever played on TV, Andy and Sting were there as my backup band.
Yeah. Yes.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I can't
That's
imagine
funny.
that guy's got to have so many crazy stories. That band.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that band was so good. Also, like notably, one of the bands that is talked about with the, people play to click tracks now, so that the tempo of the songs are the same all the way through, and they have some of the best examples of their excitement making it to the tape, and like they speed up as they get more excited as they're playing the songs, and you can hear it and you can feel it, and it's one of the reasons why we love those tracks.
Yeah, dude, So Lonely is like when he gives you that gnarly drum fill and then Sting starts playing again and it's like a full half beat faster
It's
than it
awesome.
was.
I don't know.
before
I don't
that.
know if it's a half beat or what
No,
how
it's
fast
fun.
it
It's
is,
like-
but they definitely are playing a lot quicker at the end of that than they are at the beginning, and I think of several other songs. But that's one of the good examples. I think the Wailers are another really good example of that. They just get excited as they're laying down the tracks, and that's something that you feel that you don't like. Most people don't really even realize. I think is happening, but
Yeah,
it is. It's happening. People are getting excited about it.
that's great.
It is great. All right.
It's time. So, oh no, this is not. This is not
that?
pontoon trivia.
Sorry.
No, so I was going to say this is actually goes. I'm glad you did that. We need to name this Rolling Stone bit.
Well, there's only going to be like 4 of them, so we don't really need to name it.
Is this the last one?
Only Lonely 4.
It's not only I
we
can
gonna do it forever?
I could do any list ever. I could do guitarists. I could do drummers. I could do
Okay.
songs. I could
Okay.
do
All right.
Years.
Name that order.
All right.
Catch of the day.
No, my pitch for the name is the hydro hierarchy.
For those of you
I tried
listening at
really
home,
hard
this
and I
is how
couldn't come
this
up with
goes.
anything, so I said, fuck it.
All right.
Okay, Mason. So this is a segment where I give the family 5 albums
And we
from
rank
the
them.
Rolling Stones top 500 albums list. Out of order, they will be given, and the parents and the brother must reorder them
Correctly.
into the correct order according to Rolling Stones list. These 5 songs are between
Records.
these 5 albums, are between numbers 24 and 1.
Okay. Let's go.
Um,
We're gonna do this really fast this
Yeah.
time. We're not gonna spend 10
yeah, no,
minutes a person
I'll
trying
go
to
quickly.
figure out what we're
Okay,
gonna
so
do.
your first album is Rumors by Fleetwood Mac.
Yep.
Your second album is Exile on Main Street.
Oh.
Your third is Pet Sounds
Oh shit.
by the Beach Boys.
Yep.
Your fourth is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye West.
Wow.
And your fifth is Revolver.
It's so weird to think about Revolver and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy at the same time.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we have to decide in order. Are we going one at a time, or are we going all 3 at once?
No, I think let's go one at a time. We've been keeping track of points.
Okay, I will-
Noah and Dad are tied at 3. Mom has 1.
Okay. I can go first, and I will go. And I'm sorry, this is from what number to what number? 1 to 25? 1 to 24?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I will go. Revolver, Pet Sounds.
You're going from the top.
I'm going
the bottom?
number 1, Revolver. Number 2, Pet Sounds. Number 3, Exile on Main Street. Number 4, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Number 5, Rumors.
Okay, who's got next?
I'm ready.
Go for it.
Okay. Number 1, Rumors. 2 is Pet Sounds.
Okay.
3 is Revolver. 4 is Exile. And 5 is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Okay.
Pet Sounds, Rumors, Exile, Kanye, Revolver. I think there's a Beatles record above Revolver. And I think
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
well,
There
that-
is a Beatles album above
Right.
Revolver. It's Abbey Road is their highest ranked album.
That's
and
in the
it's
top 10.
fifth.
Yeah.
The number 1 album
On this list.
on this list is Pet Sounds.
Yep.
That's a point for Noah.
So that's a Noah point. The number 2 is Rumors.
That's
so
a
that's
point for
another
Noah.
point for Noah. Mom
Number 3.
got... Oh, wait. Number 3 is Revolver. So
That's
Mom
me.
got that. Exile is 4th.
I got that too.
Yeah.
And My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is 5th.
I got that too.
Pet Sounds is number 2. Rumors is number 7. Revolver 11. Exile on Main Street 14. And My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy 17.
Okay, so I got 0 on that.
So Dad got none right. Mom catching up has
So 2 in the
4
top 11
now.
are Beatles records.
Yeah, so Mom's got 4 now.
Once again, I
and
question the
Noah
integrity of this
has
list.
5.
I think that you should.
Every week.
Oh, that's kind of why I picked it, because it's also like you
It's 'cause it's bad
A little
list.
bit.
yeah, everybody disagrees with this list in
Well,
some way, shape, any
right.
of their lists
It's
in
great.
some way, shape, or form.
It's a great conversation though.
Well, and that's also kind of why I was like, let's have them guess, because they don't think like we think.
Right.
We talk about how wrong those lists are all the time.
all the time.
Sick.
Cool.
So wrong.
So wrong.
All the
So
time.
real.
And yet, we love Rolling Stone. They've provided us with a lot of information over the years. We'd be
Dude, the
nothing
best
without
was
them.
when Rolling Stone was like the magazine and it would come to the house and I
Totally
would sit
so
and read
cool.
the whole thing everything.
It was like a
single week.
newspaper in the beginning, kind of.
It was the absolute best. It was like the music newspaper and it was big. And then they had Annie Leibovitz taking all the pictures.
Yep.
Some of the most iconic pictures ever. Rolling Stone rules. Rolling Stone rules.
I have a
rules.
Rolling Stone T-shirt.
They've also stayed like super relevant in the like transformation to digital age. Like
Yeah.
they like are still very much alive and awake and well. So is Spin magazine. Spin's pretty good too.
Yeah.
They're they're pretty cool. I would love to see the zine scene like get some more attraction.
That would be fun. I would like that as well.
It would be. I would like that too. All right.
Do you want to do a secret swimmer?
Yeah, it's up to you. Secret swimmer.
Noah, are you in?
Sure.
I'm always down.
Why? When am I not? Don't ever count me out.
Segment. All right. So the secret swimmer, in case you haven't listened before, I'm going to give some clues about somebody famous in the music industry. And my fellows here are all going to try and guess who I'm talking about. Today's secret swimmer is a male.
George Michael.
No.
James Taylor.
Nope.
James Bronson.
Nope.
James Brown.
No.
Mark Ronson.
No.
Action Bronson.
No. 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 Do you
Okay.
want anything else, or are you just going to keep going?
MC Hammer.
Well, it's a guy. That's all we need.
Can't touch this.
We'll get there eventually.
Noah, you throwing any names into the ring?
Oh no, I'm working on efficiency here. I hope to.
Tays
If I'm
on
gonna
deck.
guess it, I
James
hope it's in
Murphy.
my first 5 guesses.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, I'm done guessing.
You're gonna give
now.
us
Let's
only
go.
a few hints.
Okay,
so I'm only gonna
born
give a few
in
guesses.
Long Beach, New York, which is, I believe, on Long Island.
Long Beach, New York.
Yes,
Wow, it's a different Long Beach.
completely, actually.
I'm gonna go with Billy Joel.
No,
That was gonna be my guess.
I think he just had his 100th residency show or
Nice.
100th residency or something at MSG.
Cool.
it's not him.
Yeah.
How about
Jerry
Ad-
Seinfeld
Ad
came out
Rock?
and
Ad Rock.
No.
oh yeah, it could be Ad Rock.
What about? Oh no, Bruce is from Jersey.
How about Rick Rubin?
Fucking hate you.
Ding, ding, ding.
Beasties. Yeah.
Do you want to know anything else about him?
I'd
or-
like
He
to
was
know
in New York
everything
and
about
did
him.
the Beasties. Yeah.
All right. So I was trying to be very careful about this so I could get more than 2 clues out.
Long Beach. He's from the LBC.
The LBNY.
LBNY. Oh, the C is California.
Correct, sir. All right. So
Should
he.
have figured that one out a long time ago.
He's from that
Or is it Long Beach County? I think is it a county?
Maybe.
No, I don't believe Long Beach.
Where's
is a
Long
county.
Beach?
It's in South
LA
Central
County?
LA.
Rick Rubin.
I
Let's
believe
hear.
it's
Let's
LA.
hear what you got. I want to.
All right. So
Rick
he
Ribs.
Was it
met with
DJ?
his high school AV department director
Yeah.
and picked up some simple guitar and songwriting skills. And then
Okay.
created a band, a punk band called The
The
Pricks.
Pricks.
Yeah, that
Yep.
would have gotten me there.
Their claim to fame was being, this is interesting, their claim to fame was being tossed off stage at CBGB after 2 songs due to a fight in the crowd that was actually orchestrated by the band to create a buzz.
Yeah.
And he had his dad, who was on the volunteer police department in Long Beach, show up at
And
the
arrest
club
him?
in his uniform to shut the show down.
Oh,
Clever, though. Like, create the
Brilliant.
buzz, right?
brilliant.
Dude,
Then he started a new band.
There's a
They got
punk
shut
band.
down
They got
right
shut
away.
down.
The cops came.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Then he started a new band called Hose and created a recording that was first released in a brown paper bag with no label. And the band toured with the Meat Puppets, the Circle Jerks, the Butthole Surfers, and Minor Threat. Then he turned to hip hop.
Damn, dude. Like he was like.
Right.
That was when he was 14.
That was in 1982.
Okay.
Then he became
So he was like
friends with DJ Jazzy J and learned about hip hop production from him. And the 2 of them together produced a rap song in 1983 called It's Yours from Tila Rock.
Dude, he's
Then he started Def Jam Records in 1984. Their first release was...
So to be clear, he was born in 1963.
so he was 19.
So he was 21 when he started Def Jam Records.
That's correct.
Yeah, he was 19 when he was on tour
So-
with all those.
Def Jam Records starts. They've released their first release. Well, okay, so he started Def Jam with Russell Simmons. DJ Jazzy J introduced the 2 of them, and then the 2 of them together kind of pushed him out and started their own thing, and they formed Def Jam Records. So then their first release was I Need a Bat from LL Cool J. Then they signed Public Enemy. Then they did Run DMC's record in 85.
I remember.
Then they did the Beasties
And
record
well,
in
they did-
85.
Well, he was the
Then
DJ
they
for
did
the
the
Beasties.
Aerosmith
the-
and Run DMC thing
Yeah,
in
Walk This Way.
86.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
single-handedly resurrected Aerosmith's career,
Correct. So then
arguably.
he
They
splits
had a lot
from
of career
Russell.
after that.
They
He
had a
splits-
lot of career after
Oh,
that,
hell
and they
yeah.
had nothing going on until
All
that happened.
When
Right.
the 4 Non Blondes girl was writing a couple of songs for them, I think.
Yeah, dude, I still the most badass Rick Rubin clip I've ever seen is, and I don't even love Jay-Z, but it's a clip of him. He walks into a room, Jay-Z's sitting down on a couch, and he goes, "So Jay, I've been thinking about the beginning of this song." And he goes, "Oh yeah, what do you got?" And Rick goes, "So I think that you should start by saying, if you're having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one." And then drop the beat and then do the verse. And Jay-Z's like, "All right, yeah, I think that could work." And what's on the album?
Right. He's a badass.
I might have said that already, but
You say that a lot, but it's a good story. And it's funny.
It's incredible. I also
also
think it's
so
amazing that he was
creative.
the DJ for the Beastie Boys. Like that
Right.
was pretty insane too.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, so then in 1988...
Dude, I had tickets to see the Beastie Boys like that first season. I don't remember what year it was, 1981, 2, 3, something like that. It was at the very beginning of and
The first album, the first
No,
tour.
no,
You
it
said
would
the
have been the-
first season.
I
so-
know, but what I meant was
You
when
mean
they
90.
1990?
82, you were like 5. You did not have tickets to see the Beastie Boys when you were 5.
Yeah, no, I did.
And
I
Rick
did.
Rubin was still on tour with the Butthole Surfers in his second band in 1982.
What year was like Fight for Your Right to Party, License to Ill.
That's License to Ill. I think that's 89.
Okay, so that's the
That
year.
makes more sense. You were 12.
And they got
Or
into
90.
trouble because they had like inflatable dick, and they were like jumping around on stage in that,
Well,
which
did they
was
have a keg too?
which was a problem and got them like kicked off of stages and stuff, or kicked out of venues, which was probably Rick Rubin's idea after hearing that stroke
Yeah.
of genius.
Yeah.
And then the other was they were drinking beer, and one of them was under 21,
Got
and
it.
so then like they couldn't they
Shut it down.
yeah,
I
like
don't
he got in
remember
trouble.
which one's the youngest.
But they were supposed to come to Chicago, and my dad had gotten us tickets, and then we couldn't go.
Mike D's and
That was disappointing.
Okay, do you want to hear my last great story about Rick Rubin?
Yeah,
Okay, so in 1993,
93.
by then he's now split from Russell Simmons and moved to LA, and he started Deaf American Records.
Yeah,
And then in 1993, something happened.
Johnny Cash.
No,
Okay.
the word deaf, DEF,
Yeah.
was added to the dictionary,
Meaning like
meaning it was considered a real word. So he was quoted first saying, when advertisers and the fashion world co-opted the image of hippies, a group of the original hippies in San Francisco literally buried the image of a hippie. When deaf went from street lingo to mainstream, it defeated its purpose. And then he proceeded to hold a funeral
For
complete
death.
with a casket, celebrity mourners, a grave, and a eulogy presented by the Reverend Al Sharpton, and changed the name of his label to American
American
Recordings.
Yeah.
And the first major project was with Johnny Cash.
Was Johnny.
so.
You know.
What did deaf mean? Like deaf.
What is the actual meaning? I did not look that
I
up,
mean,
but I will right now.
Yeah, we all know what it means.
Well, I was gonna
you don't
say,
have
are
to
you,
know what
like,
it means.
short
to know
for
what it
deaf?
means.
Like short for definitely.
I don't think so.
It means excellent.
Yeah, that's more like it.
A truly deaf tattoo.
of Excellent Jams.
Excellent Jam Records.
the Excellent Jam Records label. Thank you.
It's one of those perfect
Lovely.
examples of like something
Do you
really
have any Grey Poupon?
of something really special happening like right under our nose, right? It's like we were talking about this last weekend
One of our children.
well, no, it's just like it's amazing to you think about Haight-Ashbury and the 60s and the Merry Pranksters and the Acid Test and Timothy Leary and
It was like a perfect storm.
well, no, you think of it and then you think of, yes, it was it was a movement. It was
Yes,
a movement.
it was
It
a
was like
movement.
some real shit was happening that people would be talking about and writing books about and documenting and remembering for, decades and decades and decades to come. And it's interesting to think about hip hop turning 50 or grunge, and those are like real things that, well, we're not 50, we're not quite 50, but like,
but we remember it happening.
We remember the very beginnings of that
Those
whole
things.
entire thing, and it was not obvious to me while I was living through it that these times were going to be as special as they ended up being. And I think that's a lesson that I would teach all young people to just be on the lookout, because you don't know. Like when you think about, I mean, we've seen a lot of them. The skateboarding kind of thing, like, wasn't a thing. It was a thing in the in the 70s. In the 80s, it got some massive, and now you look back and it's like Tony Hawk is like a real life legend, and Steve Caballero and Paul Peralta and all those guys like did something. They changed the world. And now we have X Games and like alternative things to baseball and tennis and soccer, right?
and they're now being acknowledged like in the Olympics.
Yeah, and Shaun White and these people are doing something, and it's really, really neat. Rick Rubin, another just great example of a living legend. The dude has done so many amazing things. Plus, he's brilliant. Like, you listen to him, you follow him, you see what he's saying, you listen to his podcast, you listen to what he's talking about, how he talks about art, how he talks about the creative process, and all of the things that he's responsible for. That's just one, the 99 Problems. I listened to the another one was the Queens of the Stone Age. They had this whole song written, and there was a one word missing. It's a famous song that you guys would know. He's like, just open the dictionary and pick out the first word, and sure as shit, that's the word that's in there. And I don't know. He's a brilliant mind. He's been a part of a lot of really special projects, but I think he's also kind of the guy that if you have the luxury and the ability to work with him, he's kind of the type of guy where his he's the gift that keeps on giving, right? His lessons last, and that's pretty cool. I think that is pretty awesome. So that's that.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. Look up his discography.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, no,
He's been a
his
part of a lot of
discography is-
projects.
He and Quincy are the two that I'm most familiar with being like actual
Quincy's the same story.
badasses.
Quincy is also he also broke the color barrier, and
Yeah, Quincy's more remarkable. than a lot
and you
of
know
us.
who helped him? Do you know how he started?
I do. I think I know the answer to this.
I don't know, but it's
He started by charting for Frank
Sinatra.
Sinatra.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
As
Frank
soon as you
Sinatra
said
doing
it, my
things
guess
like
was
you
gonna
don't
be
let
'cause
him
it's
in.
Sammy
I'm
Davis.
not playing here. You don't let him in. I'm not coming.
Well,
you
that was
You don't let
Sammy.
him stay here. I'm not staying here. No, he did shit like that for Quincy too.
Yeah, but the like
The Rat Pack and all of that too.
well the well documented one is Sammy Davis, right?
Well, Sammy and there's the Rat Pack, but then what my point is Frank wanted Quincy, and Quincy.
Oh
was
no
the
no no!
band
I'm not
leader
saying
and
that you're wrong. I'm saying the story that I know super
I
well about
understand
Frank
that.
is he
This
ran
is
over to
a different story.
his place and ripped up his contract in front of the dude's face because he didn't let Sammy in to come see Frank's show
Right.
that Frank invited him to.
Right.
So he was like, "I'm never playing you
Anyway.
again. Goodbye."
Rick Rubin's a badass.
100%.
What else you got for today?
I'm good.
Yeah. How about you, Mason?
Got some trivs,
All right.
some trials and triviations.
You making words up now?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's time for pontoon trivia.
Okay.
I didn't do a very good job at all.
No, it's okay though. That's gonna be the one for this week. I'm not doing another one. So, see, you might get this one on the first hint. If you don't, if I can
Let's
get
go.
past the first one, I'm gonna be okay. Okay. The person who wrote this song. This is about a song. The person who wrote this song wrote it after volunteering at a telephone helpline for people in emotional distress.
Oh,
That narrows it down.
is it that suicide phone number?
No, it's not. 1-800-273-8255 by Logic.
Okay.
Okay. He
That's
what
kind of a
was
good
it? It
call,
was
though.
something stress. What? Mental stress?
He wrote this
He
after
wrote it.
volunteering at a telephone helpline for people in emotional distress.
Okay.
Fire and Rain.
No.
No.
The string arrangement for this tune
Yeah,
was
Lionel Richie, hello.
what? No. the
Hello?
string arrangement for this song was written by John Paul Jones,
As it should be.
renowned bassist for Led Zeppelin.
Correct.
Also keys, I believe. In
I have
some
no
song.
idea, but maybe.
Okay.
It's an REM song.
Everybody Hurts.
John Paul Jones did the strings arrangement on
Yeah.
Everybody Hurts.
And I learned that, and then I listened to that song 4 times
No,
because
the
I was
strings
like,
are amazing.
the
on that
strings
thing.
are amazing.
That
on
record
tune.
in general is one of the greatest records.
Yeah,
Is that
Automatic-
Our Time?
Automatic for the
Automatic
People.
Automatic for the People.
Automatic for the People.
Amazing album.
Night Swimming.
Oh,
Dude, Drive
Man on
is
the
the
Moon.
opening track.
Drive. Oh my God, Everybody Hurts. What a just absolutely sick, nasty record.
The Sidewinder Sleeps Tonight.
Beautiful. It actually is. I remember very vividly. I was living on Lake Street. Karen was there. She was dating this guy, and he had a friend, and I was writing songs with the friend, and it was like this little encapsulated section
Karen is his sister.
of my life.
Lake Street is his childhood home.
Remember it just so vividly, and how I felt when that record came out, and all the other songs that were kind of around at that time. It was just a real moving record. Holy shit, what a great record. Wow.
Oh, that record's amazing from top to bottom.
And what a shame, man. I wish we could hear more Michael Stipe. I cannot imagine having. He's doing an art show in Italy right now. In fact,
Is
I
he
think,
really?
Yes.
Is it going to be going on
It's
for
in
a long
Milan.
time?
I think it's in Milan. I'm not sure, but it's not going to work for us. But yeah, he's doing an art show, and it's like a anyway.
Mason's just mocking us because it doesn't line up with our timeline.
You said it's not going to work out for us, and I went, "Oh, what a shame."
Yeah, it is a shame. I would
I'm
love
so
to see
sorry
Michael
that you
Stipe's
can't
show.
go to Milan.
But I think it's honestly I can't imagine having that bazooka and not using it. He's got one of the most incredible voices that exist on this planet, and he's not singing songs all the time. He did come out with a record last year.
Yeah,
but it was the first of in years and years and years.
Well, but and even when he was with even when REM was still together, it was essentially a studio band, right? They didn't really tour after the first couple albums.
Yeah.
They did?
They toured. They didn't tour a lot, but they toured. And now, now it's many, many years later, and things are completely different. They've lost a couple of band members and such.
I was gonna say it would be
but-
tough to get that back together. But
I remember the Katrina Relief. He did the "Losing My Religion" with
Chris Martin.
Chris
Martin.
Martin,
Who was
from
so
Coldplay.
genuine and giddy about the situation.
Geeked to play that song with him.
It
and
was
he's-
amazing to see him be like, "Oh my gosh."
yeah, I feel like he's done a couple of those relief things.
Yeah, I think
but
he comes
that's
out
pretty
here
much
and there.
it.
I honestly just cannot imagine what it would be like to have this magic and not just be using it all the time. I would be all over it. But hey, man,
I mean, yeah, I don't
to
know.
each their
There's
own.
weird
I'm not mad at you,
situations.
Michael. You do you. But I just wish that you would
Just play
sing
for
more.
me, man.
We want to sing. We want to hear that voice. 'Cause it's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it would kind of be. Yeah, I mean,
You know what I would really like to see? I would like to see Michael Stipe do a thing with Anderson .Paak.
Well, my thing is at this point, if it I don't know that it's if it is or isn't stage fright or I have no idea what it
We
has,
don't know.
what it has to do with, but I feel pretty much no matter what it is, whether it's it's stage fright or there's a lot of pressure that goes along with it or it's a lot on my body or whatever. I feel especially for him now, if he was I'm going to come out and do a tour, all of those things I would think would be kind of amplified because he hasn't done anything for so long.
Oh yeah,
Nah,
no.
no.
I feel
He's
if
sold
he
out
came,
in
if they
every large
came
arena
out
around
and
the
was
world.
I'm getting REM or what's left of it back together, and I'm doing
Yeah.
a tour with REM, I think that could be a massive tour for.
Oh my God, are you kidding?
It would be
they
a
could play
massive tour.
Soldier Field.
But
all
my
the
point
big-
is, if
big
he's got a problem
stadiums.
with stage fright, or
You're just making shit up though.
No,
you're
I'm-
saying
I'm-
he's got stage fright, but we don't know. That
I'm not
that's
saying
what
he's
the
got stage fright.
situation is.
Or if
Mason
there's
also
a lot
said
of
they didn't
pressure
tour much. They're
associated
pretty
with
much
it.
just a studio band.
No, I mean,
No, I said I asked a question and said they
I
didn't
think
really
that-
tour a lot after their first couple albums, and he said no, they did, and I said, oh, okay, cool.
I think that
I didn't make a
think,
claim.
No, I actually.
I made a claim and then
Backed
made
it
it
off.
very clear that it wasn't.
Walked it back.
It wasn't necessarily founded.
All right.
I actually do think that you were maybe possibly onto something that you might have heard, because I don't think that they loved to tour, or that he didn't love to tour. They didn't tour that much, but they did tour.
Yeah. Well, I knew that they toured. I just was.
Yeah, I don't think they did it. They don't. I don't think they played that much.
Yeah.
But anyhow, and I actually never got to see them. And I remember when they came around, and your parents got tickets, and they took I don't remember who they took.
I don't
but
even want to talk about
took
it. I
somebody
know
that-
exactly who they took.
whoever
They
they
took
took
two
didn't
people
give a
that didn't
shit.
appreciate music nearly enough
Yeah.
to go to that show.
Anyway,
Dad, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Think
Michael's-
about it for 1 minute.
Michael Stipe, what a stud. And
Really burning some bridges today.
we're not burning any bridges.
Okay.
We're loving it. All right. I think we should sign it off. I think think that Mason should fire it up for us tonight with your cool track. Or are those track glasses?
With much love, I'll see you on the other side of the next week. Bye.
I hope that you found this past bit of time very rewarding, because you won't be getting the time back. So if you don't, I'm
We're
very
sorry.
But I love you very much, and I'm glad you were with us. And until next time, I hope you have pleasant dreams.
Remember, nothing we've said in this podcast can be taken for 100% fact. We know nothing for sure. We're mostly just talking about things we think and like and find interesting. We hope you find them interesting too. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you soon.
We are at Live from the Lake podcast on Instagram and Live from the Lake on Facebook. Like
the world's
us.
greatest podcast.
It costs nothing to like us. You can find us on YouTube. Live from the Lake, Live FT Lake is our channel. Thank you very much for being with us this week. We hope that you learned something and enjoyed your time with us. When you think of us. When we think, we will think of you. We appreciate you and hope we brought some value to your hard working day. And we will talk to you next week. Thank you very much. We dove.
And remember, don't quote us if you're looking for factual accuracy.
Ringo was once almost murdered by John Lennon.
I thought Ringo was John Lennon.
No, that's Yoko.
Paul is dead. Ringo took Paul's place, and they got a Ringo replacement.
Yeah, they just did a whole shuffle.